Hey guys!
Hey guys!
Welcome to another episode. Sound like we're doing a talk show. Welcome to another Sunday of us chilling with Patrick and David and sharing about Patrick's latest English grammar is very important. One of one.
Yes.
NFT hyperrealism. 1 for 1 is a whole of a difference.
You buy one, get one free.
Yeah, it's not 1 for 1, okay? Yeah. Welcome, thanks for joining us. Let me just see who's streaming in. I'm going to just log in from my phone over here. So we are going to be sharing about Patrick's 1 of 1 hyperrealism NFT that he has finally decided to put up in the NFT space. So just in case you missed our last session or didn't look at our post previously, so these hyperrealism art, a lot of you would have known that these are just physical art pieces. Okay, this right behind is a TV. In case you're wondering why is it so reflective, this is actually a TV, okay? Yeah, so for 4 years now, you've been selling physical hyperrealism art.
Actually, by now it's, I think,
2022 already.
Yeah.
5 years, what great. Yeah, so for 5 years now, his hyperrealism art has been on only the physical space, and it's only last week that we have put up art pieces onto the NFT space, onto the blockchain.
Yeah.
So last week, we put up King of Kings and Lion of Judah, and this week, this is my personal favorite. I've told you a million times, I've said this on broadcast a million times.
Bias.
This is my favorite. Patrick, please save me one piece when I have my home, okay? Right, so today we are going to be talking about this art piece titled Behold the King, and also for his NFT hyperrealism art, it is not just a static still like what you see over here, but there is a unique animation. This one is super cool. It makes me feel like I'm watching some anime later. I will show you, right? A unique animation that visually amplifies the inspiration and the message of the art, which is titled Behold the King. Right, so let me see who's joining. Okay. Hello, hi everyone. Thanks for joining. There's a bit of lag when I look on my phone over here. But okay, maybe we can just go straight into the question.
Yep, sure.
Ken?
Sure.
So, for the benefit of those of you who weren't with us last Sunday, what is, maybe you can share with us, why is Jesus represented as a lion? To you, in the Bible, anything?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think there are many times the Bible talks about that Jesus is a type of a lion. Right, so there are different verses talk about it. One of the most common verse, right, is talking about in Revelation 5:5. It says that, but one of the elders says to me, "Do not weep. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah."
Yes.
Right, the roots of David has prevailed to open the scroll and to loose its seals, 7 seals. So this is also a picture of him being a lion. And then in the book of, because one of the most famous. I'll just say Jesus has many types that you can't really describe him in one type. So
typology.
Yeah, in typology wise, that you can't really describe Jesus in just based on one kind of creature or a character. So God uses many kind to describe him.
Yeah.
So one of the most famous one, it talks about the 4 face of Jesus, right?
Yeah.
The 4 face. The 4 face also represent in the gospel, the 4 gospel, which is Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, right?
Right.
So the 4 gospel, each gospel is also represented as one of the type, the 4 face. So example, Matthew is represented as a king.
Yeah.
Then Mark is represented as an ox, right? And then Luke is a man, and then John is an eagle.
Yeah.
So there's 4 face. In this case, let's talk about just Matthew, right? So Matthew talks about a lion, and lion is also a king.
Yes.
So in the type, Matthew is also a book of kings. It's like not a book of kings. It's a type of kings.
Yeah. Jesus as king.
Yeah, Jesus as king.
Yeah.
So because of that, right? That's how I see, in terms of to represent Jesus. Then lion is one of the best way to depict him as a king.
Yes.
Yeah. So and then of course king, we all know, right?
Yeah.
The strength. A lion, right, is about strength, the might and the majesty of the lion that makes him look. Even don't talk about just believers, but even the world has been talking about a lion is a king of the jungle. Yeah, just because of the majesty, it looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of the reason. And
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful to see Jesus as King of Kings and the Lord of Lords.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about lion, you think about like Narnia, Aslan. You think about Lion King, right? They are,
Yeah.
you know, at the top of the cliff, and then
Yes.
all the animals gather, right? That's the imagery of a king.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to this art piece. So this piece, my favorite piece, titled "Behold the King," right? Can you tell us some like fun facts about this piece? Like how many strokes? I don't know how many hours you took, if you can remember, because you draw so much.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, this piece is pretty unique to me.
Yeah.
Because this piece, actually, I halfway through, I traveled to Mongolia. Not from the China side, but literally in Mongolia itself. We went to the Western Mongolia, and then I was in the national park, which is there's no network, there's no shower, absolute for easily 5 days.
Wow.
I mean,
It's
yeah,
like army.
It literally is like going back to BMT, okay, guys, BMT, yeah, field camp. So I literally go back to field camp I was there for 3 weeks, but the longest is about 5 to 6 days. We never have a chance to shower, and many times there's no network at all.
Yeah.
So at night, what I do is spend a lot of time just draw.
Right.
I just draw this
So
line.
you drew this
Yes.
at Mongolia?
Yes, and it completed in Mongolia, I would say also.
Oh,
yes.
right,
So I was pretty excited about this piece because it's quite unique. And then also this piece actually comprises of about 350,000 strands of hairs.
Man, that's insane.
Yeah. Like Jesus says, no, I count the number of hairs on your head, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in this case, right, literally, I can say this one comprises at least the amount of strand of hairs.
Yeah.
Because the software counted.
Yeah, one of the very beautiful thing about his hyper-realism art is, you know, I mean, from far, you guys are looking at this piece from far, you know, you see very obviously the gorgeous lion, but it's really when you come up close, right, you get to see the very minute and intricate details, you know, the stroke by stroke strand of the mane, of the fur, and you can really just see how, you can only imagine how much hours and, you know, thought and just put into it. Yeah, and for me, okay, Patrick is not usually at our gallery, so we used to have a gallery at Millennial Walk, right? So usually I'm the one there. And I think I've had the privilege to see how people respond to your art, how they appreciate it, you know, the comments, they'll share with me and then I share with you. And this piece is probably the most, I wouldn't use the word popular, but the piece that evokes most responses. Yeah, and that's why if you guys have been there, you probably would remember we intentionally placed a bench right in front of this piece too, as the art piece is titled "Behold the King," right? And this piece I have seen, I can't count with the number of, I can't count with two of my hands, but I've seen more than like 10 people, you know, just tearing and some even crying. I remember I think it was last year, December, there was a family, they were looking at it.
It's not local, right?
Not local, they were tourists. And then I got them to sit down there and I played this worship music. Oh, come, let us adore him. And then the family were just looking at it. And the dad was literally weeping. Like, weeping is intense, right? It's different from crying and definitely different from tearing. It's like, you know, and then he was taking his handkerchief and wiping, and all the children were looking at him. And then after that, he turned to me and he's like, "Why did you do this to me?" Yeah, so this is my personal favorite. And I remember there was one really cool story to share with you. There was one time a lady approached us and she asked this very interesting question. She said, "A lion is meant to be fierce, but why is it that when I look at this lion, the eyes are so kind? Can you explain to me?" Man, she asked me like that.
She asked for it.
And basically we got to share the gospel about how lion represents Jesus, you know, and how Jesus is a kind king. Yeah, so yes, I think this is just a brilliant piece, a masterpiece, my favorite. I think we can talk for hours about this, but we are not, because today it's about the NFT version. So right now, I am going to show you the NFT version for this piece, okay? So remember what I said at the start, right? The NFT version is unique because there is an added animation that visually amplifies the inspiration and the message of this piece. Okay, so this piece is titled Behold the King. And now look at the NFT version and check it out. audio sounds very holy and
reverent.
in a haunting, holy kind of way. It's like in the presence of the king. Okay, so maybe it's okay. You can turn on the volume and then we can just keep it playing as we talk about it.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe you can share with us about this art piece, right? The inspiration behind it, and what were you thinking when you conceptualized, the race behind it, and what's the inspiration behind the animation?
Sure. Okay, I think one of the key things is we go back to the original inspiration, right?
Yeah.
It's actually, the original inspiration is that I want to depict him as a king.
Yeah.
And the Bible verse for this one, right? The inspiration for this verse is that is in Hebrew 1 verse, chapter 1, 2 to 3, all right? It says that, whom he has appointed heir of all things, through whom he also made the worlds, who, being the express image of his person, and upholding all things by word of his power, when he had by himself purged our sin, sit down at the right hand of the majesty on high. So, because of this verse, Jesus has seated on the right hand of the Father.
Yeah.
Right? So, it is like seated on the throne. And I always wanted to show one particular piece to depict a king that's seated on the throne.
A throne.
Yeah, a throne, right? A throne.
Okay.
So when I started to create these particular art pieces, the posture of a king is rested at the right hand of the Father, and it as if that is seated on the throne right now.
The rays are the throne.
Yes, and then with this ray, it feels like it really gives you a picture and an imagery, right, of him sitting at a heavenly throne.
Wow.
Yeah. So with the golden ray that's shooting out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is one of the one that I think personally I love this as well.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah. I noticed there's also like the gold dust.
Yes,
right,
correct,
coming.
correct.
Right.
So there's gold particles that floating around, and also, if you must see from the up close with these pictures, because the ray just amplified the meaning of the throne, right? It just amplified. Yeah.
So cool. So I know this TV is pretty fast, so you can check out the art piece on OpenSea. All the details is on our Instagram, and it will be on our Instagram profile picture as well.
Yes, correct.
Right. So yeah, I mean, from far it really doesn't do it justice, and just go check it out and look at the rays at the back, right? Looking like the throne, right? That Jesus, the King, is rested upon. One of the reasons why I really love this piece is because of the crown of thorns, right? And then the imagery of a king.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, it is like a paradox.
Yeah.
A king wears a royal crown. Historically, a crown of thorn is an instrument of torture for the criminals, for the criminals and the people that they wanted to crucify or they wanted to punish. It's an instrument of torture, right? It's for a victim of punishment. So over here you see a paradox.
Yeah. So in the way, like you rightly mentioned it, right? And beautifully brought it up, because a earthly king, they wear a golden crown, right?
Yes.
Is to uplift themselves up.
Wow.
But our heavenly king,
come on,
is the one that wore a crown of thorns.
Come on.
A crown of thorns that depicts a picture, a shadow. To me, I see as a shadow of a golden crown.
Yeah.
That's why when I draw these particular pieces, I amplified the crown of thorns. The thorns is much longer, and you see the portion of crown, it looks like a king crown.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I changed a little bit to cause that identification.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. To me, when I look at this piece, I feel like it speaks of humility. Reminds me of the verse of Philippians, right? He came down, right? I can't remember word for word. You all know what I'm talking about. And then God highly exalted him, right? But he humbled himself to the point of death.
Yes.
Right? Because the king, right? Now the song is playing in my head. You laid aside your majesty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he wore the instrument of torture, right? A symbol of being a criminal.
Yes,
of course, we know he did nothing wrong, but he was paying for our sins, our iniquities.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is just a brilliant paradox, and altogether it comes together so masterfully and so beautifully.
Yeah. And the eyes also. Just now you talk about eyes, right? I think one of the things I added a lot of I put in a lot of effort to create that particular expression because we always say the eye is like a window to the soul, right? So at the same time, right? In this case, a lion is a majestic, a ferocious or powerful creature.
Yeah.
But yet at the same time, because our King Jesus, he's not just a loving king, he's also a judge. He's fully a judge, and yet at the same time he also a loving king.
Yeah.
So there's that two types of him. Balance, perfect balance.
Come on.
You know, perfect balance in him. So that's why he's that meekness in him.
Yeah.
Okay, meekness is not just about weak or soft. Meekness is a strength that under control. So when the Bible talks about meekness, right, always remember it is talking about a strength under control.
Yeah, so good.
And that reminds me that they were just meditating about the verse, the Sermon on the Mount. Remember, it talks about the meek shall inherit the earth.
Yeah.
So then we were just talking about, just fellowshipping, talking about what is that meekness, right? So initially talk about, okay, meekness, but is the weak that will inherit. I say no. It's the one that has the power but fully restrained will inherit the earth. Yeah, that's so beautiful, especially it describes our Lord Jesus, right? He has all power, but
duality of Jesus, of the person of Jesus.
So that's why in the eyes, I purposely create that peace, that kindness, that loving eyes. But yet the posture is a king. The posture is a majestic, powerful lion.
I love it. I think like this is the kind of treat that we get when you get to meet the artist, you know, in real life, or you know, right now through Instagram. It's 表面上, okay, sorry, my Chinese come out. On the surface, you see it's just a lion, and you thought, oh, okay, Patrick probably just, you know, his artistic gift just drew a lion, and then tada, finish. But there's so much thought into it, you know, trying to capture the kindness in the eyes of the lion, yet it's a lion, strong, powerful. Reminds me again of the verse, full of grace, full of truth, not one or another. Full of grace, yet full of truth, right? Power. Yeah, so man, this is so beautiful. Right, if you have any questions for us about Patrick, anything about the lion or anything, you can just drop it in the text. I'm looking at the Instagram. If not, Patrick, feel free to add on anything you'd like before we, you know, kind of round it up.
No, I'm just waiting for the answer question as well.
Okay, there seems to be no questions at the moment. So yes, so once again, this piece is titled Behold the King. It is a one of one.
Oh, by the way, I just add one more thing.
Go ahead, please, add two more things.
One of one, right? But if you look at the actual life size, 2 meter one, the biggest one, the 2 meter size, that particular size of the lion, it is almost give you a feeling of you are actually standing in front of a real lion, because that is almost life size. Maybe a little bit smaller, some lion can be bigger, but generally that is a kind of size. Because I just went to before the COVID happened, I just have a privilege to go to Africa and shoot lion, right? And I was really up close. I was literally a fence like that between you and me, this distance, looking at a lion. And looking at a lion roaring at you, and it's not fun. It's really not fun. It's scary, but at the same time, I can understand the size, I feel the size. So yeah, it's pretty close. Come and check it out, the 2 meter one. It's amazing.
Yes, so I think that's all we have, right? So just to recap, this piece titled Behold the King, one of one NFT, right now available on OpenSea. So these are drawn entirely on iPad. So the original, as many of our physical art lovers and visitors at our gallery have requested, will be released as the NFT version, right? So thank you so much for joining us on a Sunday, keeping us company and allowing us to keep you company, share a little bit of art, and we pray that you have a blessed week ahead. And yes, always remember that Jesus is the Lion of the tribe of Judah fighting for you. Ciao.
Ciao. Thanks for logging in.